If you want to understand power, you have to understand belief. Not logic. Not evidence. Not truth. Belief. People don't follow facts, they follow stories. They follow visions. They follow the person who seems to know where they're going, even if no one else can see the road. And that, right there, is the essence of Law 27, play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. Now don't get it twisted, this law isn't about starting a literal cult, though history is full of leaders who've done just that. It's about tapping into the human hunger for meaning, for purpose, for something larger than themselves. Most people, whether they admit it or not, are searching for a framework that explains the world and their place in it. They want to feel like their suffering has significance. They want to feel chosen. Special. Part of a movement. And if you can be the one who gives them that, then you will hold power over them that no amount of money or force could ever buy. It starts with confidence. You must appear supremely sure of yourself, like someone who sees the future with absolute clarity. You must project certainty, even if inside you're unsure. Why? Because people will doubt themselves before they doubt you. That's the strange psychology of leadership. Most folks are waiting for someone to tell them what to believe, how to act, what path to follow. And the person who steps up with vision, with conviction, becomes a magnet for loyalty. But conviction alone isn't enough. You have to offer the followers a cause, a mission. Something that promises transformation. This is what every cult, movement, or successful brand offers, a before and after. Join me, and your life will change. Follow me, and you'll become your best self. Believe what I believe, and you'll be reborn. Whether it's religion, politics, fitness, or philosophy, it's the same emotional structure. A leader, a message, a ritual, and a promise. Now, the ritual is important. People need action to anchor belief. This can be daily habits, unique language, symbols, mantras, anything that separates them from outsiders. That's key. You create an in-group. And when people feel like insiders, they bond tighter. They defend the belief system more fiercely. They reject anything that challenges it, because now it's not just an idea, it's part of who they are. This is where power becomes real. Because once your message becomes part of their identity, they'll follow you almost blindly. They'll justify your flaws, protect your image, and see anyone who questions you as the enemy. That's how dangerous and potent belief can be. You've seen it in political figures, spiritual gurus, self-help moguls, even social media influencers. Once they've formed a tribe, the tribe does the work for them. Of course, to make this law work long-term, you must never let the illusion crack. You must remain above the masses, untouchable, mysterious even. Be seen, but not too available. Speak, but not too often. Let your followers fill in the gaps of your silence with their own imagination. They'll turn you into a legend. And legends are harder to criticize, because they exist partly in the minds of the believers. But there's a trap here. A big one. If you start to believe your own myth too much, you lose control. Power requires detachment. You must be close enough to inspire, but far enough to analyze. Once you get drunk on your own influence, you start making reckless moves. That's when cracks form, and doubt creeps in. And once doubt enters a belief system, it spreads like a virus. So you have to manage the narrative constantly. Reinforce your message. Create small wins and dramatic moments to re-energize the faithful. Let them feel progress, momentum, growth. Keep the dream alive. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room, you need to be the one people want to believe. The one who gives them hope. People will do almost anything for hope. Think about the great movements in history, both good and evil. They all had the same ingredients, a visionary leader, a sense of purpose, an us versus them dynamic, a feeling of destiny. Whether it was religious revival, revolutionary change, or corporate domination, it started with belief. Someone made people feel seen, understood, and chosen. That's power. You don't need millions of followers. You just need loyal ones. 10 true believers are worth more than 1,000 casual fans. True believers evangelize. They recruit for you. They defend you in your absence. They keep the flame alive. Your job is to keep them aligned, loyal, and dependent on the vision you've created. Now let's talk manipulation, because yes, that's a part of this. Let's be honest. If you're using Law 27, you are engineering belief. You're shaping perception. That's not necessarily evil, it depends on your intent. But make no mistake, you are playing with one of the most potent forces in human psychology. People have killed, sacrificed, and died for belief. So if you wield this power, do it with full awareness of the consequences. Some will say this law is immoral. That it turns people into puppets. That it's deceptive. And those people aren't entirely wrong. But here's the truth, this law is already being used against them, by politicians, marketers, preachers, and platforms. If you don't understand how it works, you become a pawn in someone else's game. Knowledge of this law is not about exploitation, it's about self-defense and strategic influence. You don't have to use this law to deceive. You can use it to inspire, to organize, to lead with integrity. But you must understand the structure of belief, because without it, you'll never move masses. Charisma alone is fleeting. Ideas alone are too abstract. You need the fusion of message and meaning. You need the emotional fuel that turns followers into a force. And let's not forget timing. Belief grows fastest in chaos. When people feel uncertain, afraid, or disillusioned, they are most vulnerable to a strong message. That's when a leader steps in, offers clarity, and wins hearts. If you're playing the long game, be patient. Wait for the right moment to unveil your vision. When the world feels unstable, that's your stage. Now here's a brutal truth, not everyone can be a leader of belief. Some people are too honest, too transparent, too logical. They can win respect, but not devotion. To create a following, you must embrace theater. You must dramatize. You must be larger than life. This doesn't mean lying, it means storytelling. Your story must be so compelling that people need to be part of it. Every symbol you use, every phrase you repeat, every choice you make it deliberate. Create rituals that make your movement feel sacred. Reward loyalty. Highlight transformations. Turn your followers into testimonials of the vision. The more you show results, the deeper their commitment becomes. Remember, belief is not a straight line. It needs to be nurtured, reinforced, protected. Attack the doubts before they grow. Distance or discredit dissenters. Keep your core followers close and engaged. Make them feel like insiders to a great secret. That's how you maintain the energy. That's how you keep the cult alive. And finally, never forget that the most powerful belief systems are the ones that continue after the leader is gone. If you truly want to be untouchable, build a vision that can outlive you. Create principles, language, and rituals so strong that others can carry the torch. When your followers can lead others in your name, your power becomes permanent. That is the ultimate game. Not just influence, not just fame, but legacy. And it all begins with understanding belief, mastering narrative, and stepping boldly into the role of visionary. Law 27 isn't just about playing with minds, it's about awakening something deep within them. Something timeless. Something unstoppable. And if you can do that, you'll never walk alone again.